What's up YouTube? Rogue here. So I've decided that I want to do more D&D videos for my channel. Ever since I saw the D&D movie, as I said, my creative juices have been flowing again, and I would like to bring more of that stuff to you. But I don't have too much to work with, as my play groups for various reasons are not able to commit to gameplay regularly enough to run a reliable stream. So I got to thinking, what if I brought you guys a series that dealt with character builds? These are characters that I've utilized in several campaigns over the years, and our first build is really a double NPC build. And to any DMs that might be watching this, feel free to let your players use any of the characters that I build within this video or any future video, but these two for this purpose might be best suited for the DM to run as NPCs. That being said, it's your game, it's your world. If your players are adamant on playing these two, feel free to let them do so. But that being said, I'm presenting them as the original incarnation, which was to be DM NPCs. And on the topic of original, I'll say that these two were created back when 3.5 was considered up to date. As such, I will present you with the 3.5 version of these two. And DMs, I'll leave it up to you to decide on how to incorporate them into your 5e campaigns or any future generation campaigns. What this video is what is their backstory, how did I build them, and how did I play them, to give you guys some fresh ideas for your campaign. So, with that said, here is, via 3.5 storyline, Ciastrith and Rothikk. Ciastrith is a half-silver dragon paladin who venerated Hieronius. Her life as a paladin was fulfilling, so she didn't seek to be a cleric of his, but if asked, without hesitation, she declared loyalty to him. One fateful evening, the city she lived in was attacked by a red dragon. She and her comrades were ordered to eliminate it, and so she traveled and found the dragon's lair. And in a bloody battle, she killed the dragon. She was, however, the sole survivor of her group. She attempted to heal one of her soldiers, but it was too late for him, and as she turned to leave, she heard a crack behind her, and then several more cracks. As she looked, she saw a lone egg beginning to hatch. She watched as a half-red dragon broke from the egg and feebly roared its first. Knowing what this new hatchling would grow up into, she drew her sword, but as she approached the infant, she couldn't bring herself to slay it. Yes, this thing would grow up to be a wrecking ball of destruction, but it hadn't done any harm yet. She wrestled with herself over the course of action to take. She prayed fervently to Hieronius for guidance. Her law stated that the baby had to die, but her good nature couldn't find the justice behind it. And so she settled on a different course. She would instead adopt the infant. She knew of stories and legends where naturally evil creatures had found redemption. She never put stock in them as she knew about the nature of creatures. But if there was ever a chance, she had to take it, didn't she? And so, in secret, she raised a dragon, with hopes and dreams he would be a powerful ally to Hieronius. However, nature prevented this to some extent. Yes, she was able to crush the evil in his heart, and he made his choice to do good. But she couldn't cancel out the chaos that reigned in his soul. Where she saw law, he saw restriction. Where she saw order, he saw chains. He was happy to do good, but it had to be on his terms, which, to her dismay, meant by any means necessary. When he was old enough to understand, she adopted him not as a mother, but as a sister. He was her brother. Due to the vast difference in their belief and practices, as Rothikk decided a more fulfilling life was not one of a paladin but of a rogue, these two would often bicker and fight relentlessly, sometimes to the extent that onlookers would mistake their interaction as hatred. But make no mistake whatsoever, these two will risk life and limb for each other. So, sometimes I have Rothikk as a rogue warlock. But however you want to build him, he is meant to be something that would grind a paladin's gears, or grind the gears of a lawful, good character, should you decide to have Ciastrith, say, be a cleric, for example. Obviously, in 5e they would be dragonborn and not half-dragons, but the concept of them is the same. She's lawful good, he's chaotic good, and they could make for some fun or exhausting role play through their inability to agree on most courses of action to take. For example, where Ciastrith would seek to arrest a villain, Rothikk would just as soon kill him. Ciastrith longs for peace and harmony. Rothikk is a cocky rascal looking to further his own fame and fortune. And on that note, Rothikk is more than happy to acquire necessities by any means necessary as well. Am I so sure that Rothikk is good? I'm debating that now. But no. Keeping his history the same, I'm not about to rewrite his history in the middle of a video, or his personality for that matter. Ciastrith is constantly trying to keep her eye on Rothikk, and he will look for whatever opportunity he can to do what he needs to do without her hovering over him. If he decides that there's a shop, for example, that has an item he needs, he will look for every opportunity he can to get out of her watch, so that he can go and retrieve the item that he feels he needs for whatever his justification is. I will say his justifications are always with the best motive at heart, but his course of action leaves much to be desired for his sister. But this will give your party, if done sparingly, a unique obstacle to overcome within themselves. However, as I said, they will go to Avernus and back for each other. So no matter what the party suggests, if they get separated for a length of time, say a night or two, they might be without aid for a period of time if they refuse to help one search for the other. What I do is go with 24 hours. If Ciastrith and Rothikk are away from each other for 24 hours, they begin to have separation anxiety, and the longing to find each other grows rapidly from that point onwards, making it difficult and near impossible for them to focus on the tasks at hand. So DMs, if you're going to run these two as I've presented them, I'd advise separating them sparingly, because it could present a fun and unique hook for your story, but it could also be a serious hindrance at the same time. If the party decides to push forward, but then they see the results of the anxiety on Ciastrith or Rothikk, and they decide to abort whatever it is they're doing to go search for the other, the one feels relief in beginning to look, and you can begin to lessen the anxiety that one feels. But if the party refuses, and for some reason Ciastrith or Rothikk choose to continue with the party, and they've got that separation anxiety, they're going to grow in desperation by the hour. As such, when I role play these two, they roll with disadvantage, -1 for every hour that they are not looking for the other. And that -1 accumulates every hour. So by the third hour, it would be disadvantage -3, so on and so forth. Disadvantage -4 at the 4-hour mark, so on and so forth. If the party decides that they want to abort and go help find the other, then you can retract the -1 hourly as they're searching for the other member. With that said, this has been Ciastrith and Rothikk. I hope that they present a fun and unique gameplay to your group. I hope that they present fun and unique challenges for your group. And I hope that they're able to accentuate your campaign rather than pose a hindrance, because, as I said, there is a potential for them to pose a hindrance. But I guess I leave that up to you guys to work out and make sure that it's a fun and unique hook. It could be a fun and unique hook to have one of them taken for whatever reason and lead your party into a side quest that you have set up that you want to try out. But again, I would strongly suggest doing it sparingly, because I can see a party of adventurers getting really fed up with these two as well. So just be careful when running them, have fun, and happy rolling.